Candy, Candy Happy Hour, and we're so glad you're with us again. We are excited today because we are starting with some special guests this week, and we've got Cathy Jacobs here from Angels Cafe. If you guys have not had the privilege of being down there for food, for music, for Cathy's amazing energy, you got to go when things open up again. But I want to introduce myself. I'm Lisa Gareau with Candy Event Consulting. This is Jen on that side over there.
Hi.
And we're coping and actually in lots of ways finding amazing community through it all. So welcome, Cathy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing today? What was up for you today?
Just finished off making sure all the folks that have been calling in today got their free love packages.
Awesome.
So our wonderful cooks were busy preparing wonderful chicken and mashed potatoes and carrots and salads and macaroni and cheese, homemade everything. It's awesome. Yeah,
it's so great.
Fun.
So great. And we met, when did we meet, Cathy, for the first time? I guess we were coming, my husband and I were coming to the open mics on Friday nights.
No, I think we met at one of the help me.
With the No Tribe.
The No Tribe. They came up and told me about somebody close to us that had transitioned.
That's
and
right.
I didn't know about it, and I was like, what? That's
that is right. And I think Tim was already possibly coming to the Friday nights at that point.
Yeah.
And shout out to the No Book and Tribe if you guys haven't seen it yet. They are all over Calgary. And Cathy and I are both in the last 2019 version of the Notebook. And so shout out to Kim Hadley, Kim Hadley, Kim Hayden, who is the ambassador of the No Tribe. You are not related to Kim, are you?
No, but we're pretty tight, so that could be a thing.
There is a sistership there.
She's really cool.
So we really wanted to have you on, Cathy, because I think this idea, Jen and I did a conversation yesterday around what does change look like? And change can be tough for a lot of people, and not just physically, like when we're making a change, but it can mess with our head and where our mindset is at. And but what we wanted to chat about first is we are event planners, and things went upside down a couple of weeks back. We understand everybody's in transition, but we want to hear a little bit about maybe an event that you were planning. What happened to that event, and where are you today? So what are things looking like? Because I know you're so busy right now, but can you tell us a little bit about maybe something you were planning before we were all turned upside down?
Absolutely. So March the 27th was supposed to be a big fun celebration day of our first year in our new building. After a very traumatic and dramatic 3 years to get to an end point of opening our cafe. And then we were supposed to be celebrating at the same time, within the same month, my 23 years of being in business on the same piece of land.
Can you tell us a little bit about your business, Cathy?
Oh yeah. So I started as a young mom with 3 young children. 3 years early, I just left the women's shelter and was redoing my life, restarting my life. And this was my big launching off point of really moving into a new world and seeing what was possible. I bought a food truck from a friend of mine, which is the one that existed when I first came into this location. And I started and worked 8 years as a food truck, one of the first food trucks in the city.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So never imagined we'd be here 23 years later doing what we're doing now.
Okay.
Nope, lost you.
Definitely a time of dreaming bigger dreams than I had at that point. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So what was that event going to look like? What were you thinking?
So we were looking at doing a 12-hour music marathon. We have been so blessed to be connected to so many beautiful musicians in this city, and our life is wrapped around music. I mean, we've been before we started this events here that we were 10 years doing open mics on our old patio of the old original building. And I don't know, music has just always been a big part of our life. So we were when we introduced our my partner Jimmy into the business as he took on management. He just music is everything for him. So he already knew a lot of these musicians, and we started opening up our open mic to 2 more nights of live events, and that just expanded us to a whole new level. So it brought another layer to what we already do down here. So we are a small family business where most members of the cafe are family or facsimile thereof, and a lot of adopted family members into this family. So yeah, it was just a love project, and we've been doing that for 23 years, and we were hoping to combine fundraising because we took on $1 million debt when we went into this adventure, which was not supposed to happen. And we were hoping to find a way to raise some of the money well, I was taking on a challenge to raise $1 million in 3 months. In 90 days, I was going to take the challenge on to figure out how to do the impossible. Yeah, right. I took it on with all my heart, and then it kind of all went by the wayside. We were going to launch my book, Calgary's Own Pathway Angels, into an ebook, which I'm working on right now. Still, a friend of mine's doing that for me, and so we were going to do that as part of it, and bring in sponsors and see what we could do as part of that fundraising effort to see what we could, how we could start going into this new season with a fresher light. Yeah.
Sure. Well, just because you can't have your event doesn't mean that you don't need to still raise the funds, right? So, maybe just extend your goal for a little bit, a couple of weeks.
I can't hear. I'm only hearing one of you.
Oh. Can you hear me?
Can't hear you. No.
Oh.
So I'm only hearing one. I'm only hearing Lisa. Am I supposed to do something here? Can I change that?
I'll just dance.
So what Jen was saying was just because you can't meet that goal right now, that there's going to be an opportunity for you down the road where you can actually realize the goal, but it might look a little bit different.
Totally.
So what happened when all of this happened? And I know that we were working a little bit on what could that plan initially, like it was all very new, what that party could look like, and excited about that, and what would the online component look like for that. And then now with everything being upside down, what I have been so impressed with is your ability, not even just to extend into the community, but your ability to go inside yourself and find the strength to see what's next and be open to what's next. So what was that like for you, that shift where you knew that you might have to be either doing to the door, like where people would just come and do pickup for your meals, to now you're doing delivery. So what was that shift for you? Like, was there a moment where you said, now this is
well, really, there wasn't different now? There wasn't a direct shift, really. Beside what we decided was just to close.
Right.
Of course, it was within the family dynamics. It was what everybody said was socially acceptable. Just close. So I'm not sure if I was on board with all of that right in the beginning, but really, I'm part of a group. I'm not. It's not just me. Right. And without my full family on board with anything I do, I really don't get anything done. So we made a decision on the 16th to shut our doors. At that time, there wasn't really a conversation as to whether we could stay and do takeout, or I think that was just not one of those ideas that came to us in the beginning. So then it was like, okay, now we just got all this food. Now the families all got their fridges full and the freezers are full, and what do we do from here? And then the idea of let's just cook it up and give it away rather than have it go bad. And like most things in my life, I don't think beyond the moment. I allow inspiration, and the family is inspired to do things, and we talk about it, not really give much thought to the forwardness of it. It's just, okay, that feels good, let's do that. And
exactly.
A big part of, I think, what's for me easier than a lot of people in this sort of transitional times is I'm very spontaneous in most things that I do. I'm not a goal setter. I'm not a trend setter. I'm not a schedule maker. I don't pre-plan. I pre-pave good feeling things in my life. Well, and I say that, and I say
Jen,
that
but she's freaking out right now.
right?
She's making me nervous.
And I think that's one of the biggest challenges people have when that is their life goals or the way they set their lives up, because when it all unravels, what do you do? Because you've not got the tools in your own personal tool belt to grab onto to say, oh shit, now what do I do, right? And I think for me, on a personal level, I've lived in a lot of drama. I mean, I've overcome more in a lifetime than most people have ever even ventured to be toe into in the very beginning. And it started at a early childhood, right straight through my life. And I think because of it, I've been given a lot of great tools to allows me to rise above it all.
Yeah.
And that's where I am right now. I'm just rising above and getting a larger perspective of not what the future looks like, but what today looks like.
Right.
I never think beyond the day. So that's kind of where I think I've got the greatest bouncing off place of all, because I'm not worried about tomorrow. I just did an interview with CBC National today, and they wanted to know the finance minister is going to make a big announcement today. They think 25% of the population is going to be unemployed. I went, 25%? Are you kidding me? Try 50 or more, maybe 65 in Alberta, just based on what I'm seeing. But I don't know. I don't pay attention to the media. So when they said that, and they said, so what is your twist on this? And after the interview, she said, I don't think you'll make headlines today, because they were looking for bad news. They wanted to hear me freaking out. Did you have to let your staff go? Yes. How many of them? All of them?
Yeah.
Did you have to lay yourself off? Yes. Do you have an income? No. What about your business? No. You know?
And then so, what?
And so, I mean, here they were reaching in to grab some freaking out about, oh my God, but what about the future? Well, I don't know. You know, I could step off a curb and get hit by a bus tomorrow. I don't know. So that's kind of the perspective I had. And by the end of the conversation, she said, well, that's not really what we were going for, but tell me a little more.
Well, and you know, the funny thing is, and Jen, I think that others can hear you, so you're welcome to chime in as well. Unfortunately, I don't know why, Cathy, you can't hear Jen.
Yeah, why can't I hear her?
I don't
you have to do sign language or something.
Yeah.
I'll just do interpretive dance. Everyone
That's
knows
what she does the best. That's why she's part of the team, actually. Yeah. She said she does interpretive dance very well. So.
Oh, good. And now if we could just learn to interpret dance, the dance of life, you could interpret it all the way. Honestly,
isn't that the thing? And I think every time I talk to you, Cathy, what an encouragement, because we are planners, and we are looking at a world of event planning that has been turned upside down. And so the idea of, and I was on a call this morning as well, and we're looking at doing an online mastermind for event planners. It's just launching right now. And the conversation I was having, the person I was chatting with was saying, well, what topics are we going to talk about? What are we covering? What are those things that we want to make sure we're telling them about? And I said, actually, I want to flip it on its head, because what I want them to do is to become solution finders in some of the most deepest crisis moments, or when you're working with your team and you're not sure what to do. We can be talking heads, and we can be telling people, either freaking out about something, or we can be telling them what to do. Yeah. But at the same time, if we're not calling out the best in each other and saying that there's going to be more, and actually you may have that solution already, and that let's just walk through the journey together. Yeah. That is a different conversation than asking an expert and then applying that expertise to a problem that's coming in the future. What you're doing, Cathy, is not just going with the flow, because you're a very high energy, very much a doer. Let's just get the job done, and nothing scares you. No. You're really just showing up for what needs to happen.
Right.
The beauty in that is that you're being that for other people. I think you're being that example for other people. And Jen, I don't know if you have a comment on sort of how that's looked for some of our other clients as well.
Well, I think that's it, is that, and we say this all the time, we don't stop, you know, that we just jump the hurdle and keep going to the next thing. And, you know, Cathy, as we know, has been through a lot of hurdles. So this is just another one to get through. And sometimes it's good to not have a plan. I don't know how. I don't know how.
So Cathy, Jen's saying sometimes it's okay not to have a plan. And that you are an example, is that what you said, Jen? Example of just being able to
just go with it.
Kind of go with that flow. And so what does it look like now for your customers, Cathy? Like what are they saying to you? Like, I know you're doing deliveries right now. Are you still doing that right now? Or what is that looking like for you?
Well, my customers, I don't see many of my customers anymore unless they're reaching through the door with a donation of some kind, which I take and put my gloves on for, by the way.
Yes.
But whatever that looks like for me, it really is. It's the love, the outpouring of love. So in everything I do, my first thought is, what does love look like? So in every aspect of that, which is my business, I say, you know, when I was designing my building, I thought, what is it going to feel like? Not what is it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? And so everything in my life is all about going with the feeling of stuff. That's been my first direction of everything. And because love is my greatest expression of who I am, because I literally adore my life. I adore who I am. I adore my family and my friends and my customers. And so I don't think about the profit side of things. I don't think about the bottom line. I don't give a lot of energy to what should be or could be. I really do focus on what's working. So I make that the biggest point of my motivation. Is what's working right now? What makes me feel good? And I share this one. It's kind of funny because I often have people on both aspects of my world right now that want to tell me the things that they think is really going on, which doesn't make me feel good. So I don't want to hear it. And I tell them so. And then the other ones that tell me what really is going on. And I say, well, that doesn't make me feel good either. So I'm not going to bother with that one either. So let me tell you what's going on in my world and how fun this is. And that's a really tough one because when you're not, as my teacher calls it in the vortex, when you're not in joy and celebrating every day and finding reasons to live in appreciation of the things in your life, what happens is you become overloaded and overwhelmed by the things that are not working. So I start my day off, it's been a long time since I've gone back to meditation. So I start my morning off calm. I empty my mind as much as my mind can be empty. It's as busy as I am. So it's an exercise for me, but I'll empty my mind of thoughts of anything that doesn't feel good. And then I go out into my day and I just use the attitude of bring it on. Now people are afraid of the bring it on attitude because it's like, oh God, hold on, because you don't know what's coming on. And I said, if you fearlessly go where anything is possible, I'm going to have to plug me in, where anything is possible, then it doesn't matter what's coming your way. Everything's going to be just fine. So, and that's kind of the way I do everything. It's like, I can't control the future. I have no idea, really. I don't know on a business sense what that means. We were already so deep in the hole and a glimpse of the light through the hole of darkness of debt. And now it's a strange thing with all the newest practices I've been re-practicing. I haven't even really given it a thought, and it doesn't really matter. I have no anxiety in my body every morning. I don't worry. I'm fearlessly accepting that every day I have a gift, and that's to bring a little bit of light into somebody else's world. I love the analogy of walking along the beach, and the beach is filled with starfish that have been washed up with the ocean, and they're on the beach and they have no way to get back to the ocean, and you pick one up and you throw it in, and somebody comes along and says there's thousands, you can't save them all, and then you go, I made a difference in that one's life. And that's how I feel every time we do something to help somebody out in any piece and point of this whole journey that we're taking. We make a difference in this one's life. in this moment, and that's all that matters. I get to fulfill my days with the possibilities of people that I can help,
Exactly.
and that is very fulfilling. And so I'm satisfied at
Absolutely.
the end of it.
Well, and you know what's really cool is the extension of that then becomes pretty amazing for the people that you're working with, because not only is it inspiring, but it gives us that opportunity to really be, when you're available to what's coming, whatever that might be, I believe that it comes back to us as well, and we're blessed through the blessing, if that makes sense. And we just lost Jen, and I'm going to just
I know. There she is. There she is.
She's almost back. Maybe
I got kicked off.
Oh, look, I can hear her now.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, well, maybe it's good you got kicked off.
I love the universe. It's so kind.
You were talking about throwing starfish into the ocean. Maybe that's what this one was.
Yeah.
She's back with her voice. I get to hear you completely. That's awesome.
So funny. Well, and what I was thinking with your Friday open mics specifically, so we're looking at how do we reinvent the event idea. So this 12-hour marathon, really building on the musical community that you have. So that's something that's coming down the pipe at some point. We're going to be talking about that. But how can you tell us how you're actually now functioning with your Friday night open mics? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
So we're now doing, Sonia, our host and our hostess with the mostest, she's amazing. She's been inspired to run it as an online through what's the chat,
through Zoom, I think.
Zoom.
Yeah,
well,
I've
never tried it before, and
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. We had 17 of us that were part of the evening, and the musicians got to share their sound, and we got to talk to each other and see each other as you and I, as the three of us are sharing now. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that process. So we could have a conversation, even though it was supposed to be all about the music. It was about the connections, and that was beautiful. I'm really appreciating technology. I'm not very technologically advanced. I'm very hands-on in so many different ways, but this is a way, and we're looking forward to.
Uh-oh, we just lost you.
Should we do?
Did
I do a voiceover?
Oh, there she's back. We lost you too. I think it might be the snow today or something.
I think I've got my alarm set, and I haven't figured out how to shut it off. So it keeps coming in and alarming. I keep shutting it out of my screen.
Well, honestly, and we are getting close to 4:30 here. So appreciate the chance to hear where you're going next. How can people support Angels? Where can we be showing up for you? And not just us as Candy, we're going to be with you through all of this. But what does this look like for you? How can people help?
I mean, the recognition and stuff that we're getting is kind of blowing my mind. I mean, even we had talked about this. Justin Trudeau even did a shout out to Angels.
So cool.
Like, not that we like Justin, but whatever, we'll take what we get, right? So
we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, again, I have no political views on anything. I am so open in the world. I go, whatever is. But the fact that he did a personal shout out to us and recognized what we're doing, every media's been here talking to us. Somebody just sent me a note. Actually, it was my sister saying, you realize Trudeau's government has just decided they're giving $100 million to places like yours who are actually helping the public during this crisis. And I'm going, okay,
there's your fundraiser.
There's my fundraiser. So, but I don't hold any attachment to it all. I'm just staying open. I don't know. ATB even called out and said, the CEO of ATB called us a hero, and we are members of ATB. So now they're trying to figure out how they can help us, and it's like, I love when you have no expectations. When you set an intention to do something that feels so right, in my heart of hearts, feels so right. Even a young girl wrote to me in her school her school assignment. wrote about us and they sent it to me. My heart was filled this morning. I got a good tear over it. And I realized when you're in purpose on purpose, live in purpose on purpose, then all the gaps fill in. Everything, there's no need to push or pull. And so I do none of that. I just keep playing the game.
That's so
what a great game. Good for you. So proud. That's so awesome. It's so
Thank
nice
you.
to hear that. Thank you for being here with us and sharing with our audience. And
my pleasure.
So cool.
Yeah.
So any wrap up thoughts, Jen? I know you've been to Angels, and
I love it.
What this is like for you as far as kind of just being open and allowing what is meant to be to be.
Yeah, I think that you nailed it right on the head. Just let things come as they come, and just do what you do in the way that you know how. And if it seems to be working, so that's so great, and it's such a joy to see how you've evolved and see how you're continuously evolving. And online is not an easy thing. Obviously, I just had to get back on, but you're doing it, and that's what we hope to bring to all of our clients, is that opportunity and the thought of thinking, okay, now what's the next step? How do I stay alive? How do I do this anyway, in whatever way that I can? And just the getting creative part. And you guys are doing it exactly as you should. So I'm super impressed, and I can't wait to come back when it's open.
The big thing is to take a deep breath, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
When you're in fear, take a deep breath. We stop breathing sometimes.
Yeah.
In the greatest of fears. And my great teacher always says to me, just ease and grace. Let go. Just take a deep. When it's getting too big, stop. Remind yourself in the moment, everything is perfect right now, in this moment. Yeah. And that's what we got. And I'm so happy to have this moment with the two of you and be part of what you're doing. And I'm just so very excited for what's yet to come.
Awesome.
Lots of good things to come. We'll make sure, I will do a replay of this, just so you know, Cathy, and we'll be adding some links to where they can find you. I'm sure you would appreciate people connecting. Now, are you still taking donations? Are you?
Yeah, we're doing e-transfers. It's the easiest way. I know people like to still give me cash, and I'm happy to take it.
Okay.
But e-transfer is the easiest way. And they just send it to pathwayangels@shaw.ca, and that's pathway, as in PATHWAYANGELS, pathwayangels@shaw.ca.
Okay.
And whatever comes, like yesterday was that big surprise, $500. Somebody said, here, go get the groceries you need. That was amazing. That was just it was like the magic of life.
That's
it was beautiful.
incredible. Incredible. Yeah. Well, it's a gift to know you. Cheers to everything you have got coming up. Going on currently, we are with you in this journey. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And for the rest of you, we are going to be back tomorrow. We've got another interview tomorrow with Jen Lofgren with Insighto Leadership Development, and we're really excited to be chatting with her about her work with Dare to Lead. And she had a one Dare to Lead workshop that happened in Calgary, another one that was going to be and will be in Vancouver coming up. So we'll chat with her tomorrow. But thank you so much, Cathy, for everything that you're doing and for always being such an inspiration to me and my team as well. So thank you. Yes. Love you. We'll chat.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.